Some days it feels like you're surrounded on all sides, right? Stress comes from every which way, and you have absolutely no rest. As we were coaching people in leadership, life coaching, and just business consulting, we kept on running into the scripture Psalm 3, which starts off as, man, my enemies are literally all around me. But after inspecting it a little bit more, we actually found 5 principles and techniques that may be able to help those people and us personally, and we hope that it can help you throughout your day. So there's a certain structure to each of these kingdom strategies that we're going to go through. We're going to introduce the strategy in the name. We're then going to go into certain bullet points to be able to cover, to be able to understand the concepts of these ideals. And then we're going to go into 3 applications, and then finally a game plan that you can use throughout the rest of your week. So this is only a week type of strategy. This is not something that you want to try to do every single day. You want to be able to focus and just realistically get to a place of silence overall, and then keep these strategies constantly changing. So that way you can constantly adjust to the world that's around you because it's ever changing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to these kingdom principles. So the first kingdom principle is to recognize the enemy, but don't fear it. Awareness of the fight gives you the advantage of the fight. If you don't realize that you're playing chess, it's pretty easy for somebody to play checkmate or to get checkmate. The most important part that you can see when David speaks, he names the enemy. Many are those that are rising against me. He doesn't say one person's rising against me. He doesn't say the evil one is rising against me. Yes, there's an evil one out there, right? Stirring up mischief and this, that, and the other. But our battles are internal, first and foremost. We have to manage our self-talk, if you will. We have literally attacks coming from inside of our own selves and then outside of ourselves on a consistent daily basis. When we wake up, our brain has just been stirring the entire day. So suppression thrives in silence. You have to call it out. You have to take about 5 to 10 minutes as soon as you wake up, first and foremost, to be able to say thank you to the things around you, to try to figure out what you can do better today, and then remind yourself of the game plan that you settled with at the end of the day. So don't pretend that you're not under attack. You can't defeat what you don't define. Practical application. Write down at least 3 consistent distractions or lies that derail your focus. Number 2, identify what triggers anxiety in the morning. Then come up with some kind of solutions to be able to handle it. Pick some kind of knowledge, whether it's your Bible or maybe just a daily affirmation, to be able to help you conquer those and to realize that you're in control of what you are in control of. The things that you can't control, okay, you can't control them. And to have the wisdom to be able to recognize the difference between those. Number 3, don't react to chaos. Recognize it as an opportunity to show courage. In most cases, God gives us courage. He gives us strength by giving us very difficult situations and problems to be able to conquer. Just know that if whatever you want in life and whatever God has in store for you, your job is to be able to build the attributes. So God gives you the problems and the struggles and the trials and tribulations to be able to realistically mold you into the person that you need to be. So if you're stuck inside of the problems and they keep on reoccurring, you haven't built up the strength. And because you haven't built up the strength, you're probably not going to get to that next stage and that next level. So don't react to the chaos once again. Recognize it as an opportunity to show courage. Game plan. List your biggest mental and emotional foes. We all have them. We all have our own different personalities. I was in a meeting this week, and that was one of the things we talked about. We all have our own personalities, right? I've spent the majority of my life in sales and leadership and management. So in most cases, that's the way I perceive the world, right? So how are people going to perceive me, though, when I act that way? They're going to see me as manipulative. They're going to see me as even condescending in some cases when I'm really not trying to be. So my job is to, number 1, lead with care and concern, to even take a loss every so often, and probably a lot more than what I should, to listen to what the other person has to say and not try to win the conversation, but my job is to be able to find the win for everybody. If I'm able to do that, then I'm able to conquer how people perceive me, and I'm also able to create a win in my mind. Number 2, speak the truth out loud over each one. Once again, a lot of these things can be conquered better because you're speaking them out loud. You're bringing recognition to them. Awareness and attention are like currency. And right now, with the way that we operate inside of the world, within YouTube and TikTok, which you're watching right now, what you're watching is going to control what your focus and your attitude is. And what you let fester in your mind controls your heart. It controls your emotions. If you watch a scary movie and then you listen to, music that has curse words in it and people are screaming all the way to work, don't expect to have a peaceful day. Unless that makes you peaceful, I guess. For me personally, that doesn't help. Number 3, as far as a game plan, say, you're real, but you're not in charge today. Those things that we said that are not underneath of your control, there's a heck of a lot more of those than there are underneath of your control. So you're not held responsible for the things that you can't control. And you shouldn't worry about them. And you won't make excuses if you have this kind of focus. Every single team sport or team game or anything else that happens, whenever you lose, people have a tendency to be able to blame it on the team. But whenever you win, it's because of your great leadership and your skills and ability, right? It's not our fault, okay? It's just a natural occurrence. Once again, personality is going to create perceptions. So let's move on to strategy number 2. Remember who shields you. Extending from our point, you don't face your day alone. You're covered, you're chosen, and you're protected. God is your shield, just like David says inside of it. Not your to-do list, your job, or your bank account. So where should we get our knowledge from? Where should we get our understanding from? Well, we should get it from fellow believers. We should get it from those that experience joy on a regular basis, those that have faith, those that are positive. You don't want to get your strength from a fellow complainer. We tend to do that a lot. So the biggest thing that you can do is to surround yourself with people that are going to push you and even hold you accountable. Tell you when you're being a little bit lazy or maybe you're not being as positive as you should be. The shield surrounds you. It doesn't just block in one direction. That means that on all sides, it covers you. So we have to know that we have all the tools that we have available to us at every single given moment in time, but we need to recognize what tools to be able to pull. This is when the shield of faith, the breastplate of righteousness, and the rest of the armor of God really comes into play. Each of those tools has a purpose. One is to shield you, some are for offense, some are for defense, and some are to increase your speed for the gospel of peace. Recognize which those are, and then use those as best to your ability. He lifts your head because he loves you, not because you earned it. In our faith, one of the main differences is that we haven't earned it, we can't earn it, and we never could earn it. But it doesn't mean that we don't strive for it. We want to lift our head up because somebody loves us, that created us. How do we know that? We're still here. We're still pushing. And if somebody is in control of everything around us and created us for a purpose, and we're still here, then know he wants us to be here, because if he didn't, well, we wouldn't be here. How can we apply this to real life? First and foremost, this week, right? I am covered, I am called, I am confident, and just say it daily. You need to recognize these things. You need to have self-confidence. There's a couple of exercises that you can do when it comes down to confidence to be able to show how confidence has a direct effect on what you do. But the simple thing is that if you believe that you can do it, you're going to look for more resources, you're going to try harder, and you're going to push past certain obstacles to be able to make that happen. Number 2, Visualize God shielding you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Try to, when you read the Bible, when you take some moments in the beginning of the day, or maybe the Bible is not for you yet, and you have some kind of book of knowledge that you look into, make sure that you dive into it first thing in the morning. You want to reflect on how that is treating you. There's plenty of other books out there that are secular that you should be starting your day with How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Power of Positive Thinking. There's a bunch of books out there that you should be keeping in, even if it's just 5 pages. But for us to be able to stay in the Word and then to pray in the morning, giving thanks, recognizing our faults, and then getting a game plan together, probably the most important. Game plan. Begin your day declaring Psalm 3:3 out loud. Number 2, imagine your spiritual armor as you walk out the door. Visualize it. Understand what each is for. And finally, design a shield moment. Pause before each new task and recenter. Don't go from task to task to task without any kind of pausing or thinking or anything else. Every single time that you do that, it's like not refilling your tank before you go to your next destination. Eventually, you're going to run out of gas. Strategy number 3, speak before you step. It's one of the best things that anybody ever taught me. Is just to pause before I act or speak. Your first initial reaction is usually emotionally driven, and it's horrible. Your first answer that you give on a test, you're taught is the right one, because your natural reactions is the best of your ability to the knowledge that you're using. It's probably the most correct or most correct that you can answer it. But when it comes down to answering or moving or anything else, how many times have you put your foot in your mouth and created nothing but problems around you? This is a good reminder just to be able to stop and to think before you speak and act. David called out. This was active, it was not passive. He wrote down his thoughts and his feelings and emotions. He had a vision of what he needed to do and where God was in his life. If we want to be more like David seeking God's heart, then we need to do the same. God answers from a place of authority, his holy mountain. He doesn't have the same thoughts that we do. We don't understand the way that he thinks, but we can understand his position. He's in charge, we're not. He's created all of this, we didn't. We need to be humbled in our lives and recognize that we need to follow his will, and his will is all around us. Victory starts with your voice, not your circumstances. The things that happen around you don't control you. What you focus on, once again, is what you get. Practical application. Don't just think, speak. Train your voice to lead your spirit. If you can't work it out inside of your own head, which happens a lot of time because of stress, then what you need to do is you need to speak it out externally. Prayer is nothing but communication with God. Talk to him. He wants to listen. He'll give you direction in your heart, almost in the phrase of a consciousness, telling you what's right and wrong, as long as you're in the Word and you're keeping his voice in your head. Number 2, journal prayers in the morning, then revisit them at night. Number 3, replace complaining, criticizing, and condemning with calling out to God and seeking his purpose. As far as a game plan, set a 3-minute reminder every single day to pray out loud. Number 2, write one thing that you're thankful for, one thing you're requesting, and one person to bless. Number 3, at the end of each morning prayer with this, I trust you more than what I see. Strategy number 4, rest like you've already won. Verse Psalm 3:5. Rest is the reward of trust. Sleep is an act of spiritual confidence. We start to see a shift in Psalm 3:5. David slept during the war because God sustains, not schedules. Stress lies. If you stop, you fall behind. You have to keep moving. God's people don't hustle, they operate in holy rhythm. How many times have we worked overtime away from our families and it did nothing? Absolutely nothing. We worked hard to be able to hit a deadline, Nobody was there to be able to see it. Nobody was influenced by it, and it really didn't make that much of a difference. Guys, spend your time with your family. They're going to appreciate it more than any kind of income you can bring to the table, although you have to bring income to the table. Practical application. Schedule 5 minutes of stillness in your calendar. Number 2, end each night with a gratitude list or whispered prayer. The more happy and content that you are, the more joy you will feel. It's when you're constantly seeking things and trying to get more. You start to feel like you don't have what you need, but if you're constantly thankful and just happy that you have the one who's created all of this, literally talking to you through the written word of God and through prayer, you start to realize how special a relationship you have and how happy really you should be. There's nothing wrong with taking naps. Rest is very, very important. It's faithful. Once again, I have narcolepsy, and so for me, taking a nap throughout the center of the day was really silly. Yeah, working 60, 70, 80 hours a week was more my speed. But I wasn't able to solve it. I wasn't building my strength in any way, shape, or form, and the naps are actually what would help me get up. Now, over years and years of doing that, I no longer have to do it as much and as often because I know to rest in between each moment. Game plan. Build a wind down routine rooted in the word. Number 2, get sleep with goals with boundaries for screens and noise. Number 3, use Psalm 3:5 as your last thought before bed. Strategy number 5, and our final one. Declare the win before you see it. Psalm 3, 6 through 8. Your words create your world. Faith speaks before it does. David declares victory while still surrounded. He says, I will not fear because the enemy vanished, but because God didn't. Victory belongs to the world, not to your strategy, money, or effort. Too many times I've not had the materials, I've not had the support, I've not had the people, but when I was fully dependent on God and I felt like I had everything that I needed, all of those things started to happen. Practical application. Record a 10-second daily declaration, like a voice memo. Encourage a friend by declaring a win over their life. Be encouraging to others is like trying to teach somebody something. You get more out of it than they do. When something goes wrong, number 3, when something goes wrong, declare what you know and what you feel. When you look back at it, you can start to see the journey that you need and the journey that you've won. Game plan. Write your own I will statements throughout the day. I will not fear. I will bring glory. I will have confidence. I will read the Bible. I will constantly stay in the Word. I will think before I speak. Say, salvation belongs to the Lord and today is already won. Speak the truth before the day lies. You are not meant to lead alone. One of the recent videos that we posted goes over that. We are supposed to support each other. We're supposed to uplift each other. If you find yourself constantly doing your work by yourself and for yourself, let's say you take appointments all day, you need to get involved with other people that can hold you accountable and push you up. Psalm 3 is not just about David. It's about you. Every book in the Bible is about a recognition of a relationship with Jesus Christ, with God, and how did they operate inside there, and how they were all faulty. And because they were faulty, they were able to have a relationship with the perfect one. These 5 strategies are now your spiritual battle plan. Game plan as a whole. Start every morning this week with Psalm 3. Choose one out of the strategies to apply daily. Share this video with someone you love who's in a fight. Listen, if you haven't had a chance to, there's a short that I'm making for this video as well. It's going to be a little comical, a little funny. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and every single week we're going to be putting these together. It does take a little bit to put together because of the B-roll and, just the scripting and everything in between on top of our regular work and jobs and consultations and everything else. we're constantly looking for leaders that are looking to give their time to other people who need leadership. So once again, thank you so much. If this video is helpful to you and you want to pass it on to somebody, please do. Please subscribe, like, and watch. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.